This One News update is brought to you by ANZ, strategic partner of National Field Days.
Kia ora, good evening. The tide's turning against changes in the classroom, with protests getting violent. There have been dozens of arrests in the past few hours.
The government's allies are starting to question its facts and figures on education. And there's concern at our biggest school. Political reporter Michael Parkin has more on that shortly. But first to Kim Vanell, who's been witnessing student venom. Kim.
Just in the past few minutes, protesters have come through this intersection. They've made their way through central Auckland, stopping traffic as they go, and they're now outside the Auckland Central Police Station. Now, many I spoke to today said they wanted to be taken seriously. They said they wanted their protests to be up there on the world stage, and it certainly began with some ugly scenes. With neither side backing down, the police bear the brunt of the battle against government policy. Officers turned out in force, met by protesters refusing to move, staging a sit-down on a major route out of the city. Officers begin picking off students one by one. Pressure building to clear the road ahead of rush hour. But dragging stubborn protesters off the ground proved difficult. Arrests mounting, officers often needed help. This game of defiance and detainment continued. Watching their fellow protesters dragged off, the hardcore stood their ground. Many others stood by and watched.
This is incredibly brutal. Last week we were allowed to have a protest on the same street for over 5 hours.
And a sure sign of the times, all the action captured by bystanders on mobile phones and cameras. The pictures already coming into One News. Fueling student anger, a taunting comment from Finance Minister Bill English, who last week said they should learn to protest like the Greeks.
We're not protesting like the Greeks. Does he want us to burn his head?
Their struggle, they say, a small price to pay to teach the government a lesson.
OK, Kim, what's the next step for protesters?
Well, I've been told that students are planning another protest for next week. These students are very passionate, as you can see. They've got very good communication, often using social media, and they say they want to change the apathy that is so common among their generation.
From Central Auckland, Kim Vanell, thank you.
This One News update is brought to you by ANZ, strategic partner of National Field Days.